Hey everybody, welcome back to my book chat channel. So this is another book review. This one is called Ride or Die by James Newman, and this is another book review for Silver Shamrock Publishing. And yeah, so we'll jump right into the book's synopsis and then go from there. Amelia Fletcher is a good girl. She's a straight-A student, second chair in her middle school chorus, and she never uses the Lord's name in vain. But a few days ago, she discovered that her dad has been cheating on her mom. For the first time in her life, Amelia decides that she would like to know what it feels like to be a bad girl for just one night. With the help of her BFFs, Cassie and Foline, she plans to teach Dad's other woman a lesson. It's harmless fun, right? An evening of teenage mischief. When all is said and done, the homewrecker will go away and never come back. Only then can Amelia's family begin to repair what has been broken. However, this was no ordinary affair, and the trio could never expect the horrors that await them inside the house on Callahagan Drive. So, as plain can be, and as suggested in the synopsis, that this story is 100% based on fidelity, or rather, the lack thereof. And for anyone who has listened to any of my reviews in the past, you know my stance on adultery and all that kind of jazz. And for those of you who might be new, I am 100% against it, and I am of the 100% opinion or true opinion that if you're having an affair, I don't care what the reason is. I don't care your background. I don't care the situation. And I don't care if you're male or female. If you have resulted to having a physical affair with another person, as far as I'm concerned, the relationship that you are destroying to begin that one is done. There are a number of levels of things and strategies that you can work on that can be done before you get to the point of having an affair. Even in your mind, if you are thinking about cheating on your spouse, wife, partner, whatever, then more than likely your relationship with the person you're currently with is done. As far as I'm concerned, to think about it, at least there's still a chance that you guys can come back from that, counseling, communication, working together. But as soon as that act is committed, as far as I'm concerned, it's done. There's no coming back from that. And I don't care if you agree with me or disagree with me. That is my opinion, and I am pretty strong in that opinion. Trust is a very important thing in a relationship, and once it's broken on that particular level, it's impossible, or nearly impossible, if not really impossible, to gain that back. So, whether you agree or disagree, that is my opinion. And my family is no stranger to having affairs in the history, so it's something that I can personally come from, and it's why I am very strong about my opinions in it. So it's not to say that you can't grow and change and move on to be a better person. Absolutely you can, but that's just how I feel. So getting back to the point of this book review, as I said again, this whole thing is based on adultery and how a husband decided to willingly get involved with another woman, and in doing so was caught sneaking around by their daughter. And I gotta say that while there are some pretty tragic events that take place within the story, and things do get a little graphic and a little crazy, and I really do feel sorry for the girls that are mentioned in here, Amelia having to deal with her dad's BS, and the mom, or her betraying her mom, and inadvertently betraying her as well. Her best friends being roped into the whole situation, and everything that just goes completely sideways. I feel sorry for those people. The number one person I don't feel sorry for, and it doesn't matter to me how the story ends, I don't feel sorry for the dad at all. I'm sorry, but it's kind of one of those, you reap what you sow. And in true fashion, of course, this is a blood and gory type story, and so lives are lost and it gets pretty crazy. Does the person deserve to die? No, absolutely not. No one deserves to die. I don't care what your crime is. But I don't necessarily have a ton of sympathy for you either. Like I said, you kind of played with fire and you got burned. So, be careful what flames you decide to light, in my personal opinion. So, I felt that the story it must have been told from someone who has either experienced a lot of affairs in their family or just a very important one. I would assume that the author has experienced this in one way or another, and it comes through very loud and clear through the story. And I have a lot of sympathy for, I guess empathy would be the word I'm looking for. I feel a lot of sorrow for the author who may have had to deal with affairs growing up, whether it's by parents or whatever, or even personally, maybe a spouse, whatever the story may be. I definitely have a lot of sorrow for the situation and the story and this broken family that ends up being, or this family that gets completely destroyed by just the single act of adultery and that kind of betrayal. So I felt that the story was really well written, all things considered. I felt it had a lot of really good described pieces in there. You knew exactly what was going on. There was no questions about where you were in the story. I think it was described well enough that you could easily place yourself within that story and connect with each and every one of the main characters. In that perspective, I thought the story was very well done. I can't say that it's one that I would reread for myself personally, because the events of the story have stuck with me for at least over a month now, and I have no problem going back and dictating basically the main events of the story. So I don't need to reread it to relive it. I've got it pretty down pat. And yeah, so that is my spiel on Ride or Die by James Newton. And if you're interested in picking this book up, feel free to reach out and let me know what you thought about it, and what you think of the cover. I really like the cover. It definitely shines on some mystery as to what's going on in there. And I definitely like the vibe that the cover gives off. So I'd be very interested to know if you are interested in picking up this book or not. For anyone who might be interested in reading it for themselves and would like a physical copy, feel free to reach out to me. We can always work out something for shipping costs. I'm not selling these books, I'm just giving them away. But I happen to have a duplicate copy of this story. So if you're interested, feel free to reach out. And like I said, if you're willing to put in for shipping and cover that for yourself, I can easily send this to you. And yeah. So again, I thank you all so much for tuning in. And I will be back soon with another book review. Happy reading.